Depending on who turns up, the two best horses in the race for me, two honest grade mono horses, are Story Furlonge and Captain Guinness. Brian thinks Captain Guinness might go there, and if he does, I think he's the best horse in the race, and if not, a Story Furlonge.
Yeah, I suppose it just, for me, it might be coming a bit soon for Captain Guinness. He only won last Friday in Punchestown, and it came out after Tipperary that he had a little heart issue, so maybe he might, but I'd be just a bit surprised if he comes out as quick. Henry might give him a bit more time and go straight to Dublin Racing Festival. I thought a Story Furlonge's jumping was good in Punchestown, but he does go quite right, which he did over hurdles, which mightn't suit him around Leopardstown.
Probably be hard enough to know what will go here. I imagine Willie will have the biggest hand here with Min and Chaku and Poor Swap. Probably unlikely the two of them will turn up against each other. But I'd imagine Chaku and Poor Swap look very good in Cork, and he's probably definitely the best horse in the race. Henry has a notebook, very good novice last year, and he had a good reappearance at Naas as well. And Fakir Dari is tied in close enough form with him too. So if he turns up, they won't be much between them. But I imagine if Willie runs Chaku and Poor Swap, he'll win or Min.
Well, he definitely won't run the two. He'd either one or the other. I wasn't impressed with Chaku and Poor Swap in Cork, and I thought Min was unbelievable in the Durban. So it depends on what he does, and Willie will win it, I think.
Yeah, I was impressed with Notebook and Naas. I thought he put in a good enough performance, but he probably still has to step up a bit more again. I just think Chaku and Poor Swap, he's had a run under his belt now, which will be helped him. He blew up last year at Scotch Run. He just got chin laid on by Cloutard, and I'd say he'll take a lot of it. The sound will suit him a lot better than Cork as well. More of a jumping track, and I'd say he'll take a lot of beating. I'd be surprised if Min shows up. He might go to the Dublin Racing Festival maybe.
On a line with the novices last year, Fury Road, who was a non-runner in Fairyhouse, I think he has to have a very good chance in it. He was only beaten a head and the neck in the Albert Bartlett last year. The races after working out very good. He has to have a great chance. Ronald Pump looked like he might have beaten Henry's mare in Fairyhouse the last day, and I just think that maybe if the race was run again, he might win it, and he has to have a great chance in it. Even though Brian rode him last week, you placed him in the World Hurdle?
I was second in the World Hurdle.
I don't
know if we can ride him.
So I mean, he's.
I say they'll have to make more use of him, but I think he'll go very close.
He'll bang there. I just think on the line through them, I think that Fury Road, possibly with Ronald Pump, his biggest danger.
Yeah, I'd say Fury Road could take a lot of beating. He's had a run. It's a strange one for Gordon to keep him over hurdles this year, because he was obviously bought to be a chaser, so he's a very good workhorse at home. But I just have a little doubt over does he get the full 3 mile. He arrived as if he was going to be the horse to beat in the Albert Bartlett, and he could beat in a 3-way finish. But it'll be a fascinating race, and I suppose Ronald Pump, he seems to always run into one the whole time, and he's guaranteed to be bang there, but whether he's just good enough to go by is another game.
Love the way Present Percy travelled so well, and the way he came out and won in Thurles, I thought was very impressive. I think these are horses that could continue maybe to improve those couple of pounds with Gordon, and if that happens, I think he's a great chance in it. It's going to be a very, very good race. Gordon's going to run Sam Crow. What did he say he was going to run, Brian? He's running Sam Crow, Delta Work, and Present Percy. Delta Work was another horse that was fierce disappointing in the North last year, and he came back out and won 2 or 3 grade ones after that. He's possibly going to come on and off from that run as well. So it's a very good race, and I just think that Present Percy might get the nod in this.
I'd fancy Sam Crow if Sam Crow's going there.
fancy Delta work, hopefully, if he comes back to the form he was in last year for winning back to Leopardstown as well.
Again, I'm kind of still going by the racing down right. I don't think there was a Gold Cup winner at all. I rode in it. Every horse was meeting it was the first run of the year, and I was still in front, and Alfred Zobo down to second. Alfred doesn't sort of show a whole lot for a lot of them in behind, but I was disappointed with the way how the race rode, and horse I've been very impressed with all the years in Nolan. I think he just looks, to me, every Gold Cup horse written all over him. He jumps, he races a little bit behind the bridle, which you need to do to be a top class stayer. I find those horses that go around and show plenty pace early doors don't really seem to stay out, and I just think Leopardstown will suit him. He's gone in under the radar with 2 little grade 2s under his belt. He won in Wexford and he won in Navan, and he's the improving horse, and I think he's the one they might all have to beat him today. Again, it looks like it's going to be a cracking contest between St. Roy and Aberclabers. They both probably show up. It was a falsy run race in Punchestown. They went no gallop, which probably suited Aberclabers more so than St. Roy, because he's a lot of pace. Got very messy from the turnout of the back straight, and I think I just see Gordon has Pradeep Mushwar in it, and he's a front runner. He often goes out in front, which would probably make it a truer run race. And I think, looking back through from the race in Punchestown, I'd fancy St. Roy to turn the tables with Aberclabers. If he gets his jumping together, he needs to slick up a little bit, but in a truly run race, I think he might have a bit more class for a lot of these.
St. Roy.
I like Aspire Tower in as well. They're all very closely matched on form, 3 horses, and I just think he's probably a younger horse and a bit more improvement in him again too.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a great race. It's obviously, latest exhibition is going to. That's his aim at the minute. You've Monkfish, who won quite impressive. Well, he did what he had to do. He was no more impressive than any other horse has been in their beginner's chase this year. It's a big step up, but I suppose he's had a run under his belt, and it'll be interesting to see who steps up a year now. Another horse I thought was impressed with what he done was that horse Henry de Bromhead's his French name called Eclat de Roux or something like that anyway. But I thought he took a massive step forward from his hurdle form. He had only 2 runs last year over hurdles and came out and won very impressive, and he might sneak in under the radar a bit, but I think you can definitely draw a line through latest exhibitions run in Punchestown the last year. The ground was very, very heavy, and Nolan was winning last year on a bit nicer ground, and hopefully he can put that run behind him, and he'll be down there, and it would be great if he could reverse the place into Monkfish.
Yeah, listen, of course we were disappointed with latest exhibition in Punchestown, but speaking to Brendan Sheridan said it was the worst ground in Punchestown in 25 years, and possibly from the start, Brian wasn't really happy, and I think it was the horses, just his class, that got him to run even as well as he did. I think he's going to be a different horse on better ground. All his better performances in Leopardstown last year, in Cheltenham he's only touched off, and they all came on that sort of normal soft ground, not the extremes, and I think hopefully God will see a different horse. Again, Monkfish, I was very impressed with him. I thought his jumping was fantastic. There was maybe possible little doubt about that. Over a hurdle he always made a few mistakes, but he was as impressive as you want to be the last day, I thought, and he'd probably be very hard to beat. There's also a horse of Willie's, I don't know whether he'll run in that or not, Energo Name. He was very impressive in his few runs as well, so but he won't run the 2, I'd say, so we'll just worry about our own horse and get him there as well as we can, and at the moment we're very happy.
Should look at the latest exhibition being the obvious one, because he's our only grade 1 horse. We were disappointed in Punchestown, of course, on the day, but it was a bog. He got beaten in a bog in a Limerick bumper, and he would have looked a normal horse that day, and then when he saw better ground in the bumper in Naas, he won the bridle. And maybe not just ground either, it was only 17 days from his debut, which was a little bit closer than ideal, so maybe a couple of little other things as well to add into it, that we think we'll have a better horse at Christmas. There was only a neck between himself and Monkfish in the Albert Bartlett, and sure, that's only a good or a bad jump and one obstacle in the chase on the 29th. So if we can get him there in as good a shape as we can, hopefully he'll be hard to beat. Mrs. Milner, I'd probably run that per temps race. She ran very well in Cheltenham, ran a cracker in a good race, ran the race of her life. And if she goes to Leopardstown in good form with a nice weight, she'll have a chance.
Won twice on her. Look, she's a very tough mare. I'd say she's improving with every race and every run she has. You know, James said she ran a cracker in England last day. Probably got beat by a classy enough type of horse. So, you know, you're very hopeful she's run well around Leopardstown before as well. So, 3 miles looks to be suiting her well. So, you're very hopeful that she continues to improve, go very close.
Yeah, his 2 runs this year have been very disappointing, Davey. We're hoping we're not doing anything much different with him. We're just hoping possibly, you know, that with some horses running well and more of them a little bit disappointing, and he's one of the ones that have been disappointing. So, you know, hopefully with the couple of weeks we have left, that some of them will take a little bit of a turn for the better, and that'll basically decide how Fitzhenry will run. We're not doing anything different than we did last year. He's just been very disappointing in his first 2 runs. I thought he looked like he was going to come and run a very nice race in the Tri-Down, and he just levelled out at the third last and didn't gallop to the line. That's normally not him. Normally the way we ride him, he just hunts away and he passes horses from the third last to the line, and he's just not doing that. And hopefully he'll come back into a bit of form. Whether Leopardstown is coming a little bit quick or not, but we won't know, and he will run. So we'll see, and we're hoping.
Yeah, I suppose I'm hoping to pick up a couple of nice spares. One horse I'm looking forward to riding is a horse called Dunvegan in the Paddy Power. Half fatty, he very good run in Punchestown about a month ago, behind in his first kind of competitive handicap chase over 2.5 miles, and he's crying out for an extra couple of furlongs. And the form of that race has worked out quite well. Tornado Flyer was second that day, and I came out and was just beaten half length by Min in the John Durkin there 2 weeks ago. So the form of that race is working out, and I think he'll come on a lot from that run. He's running off 139, which is, if you look back through the race from other years, it's a mark that seems to throw up a couple of winners every year, and I just think Leopardstown will suit him, and I'm looking forward to riding him.
Happy Christmas. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Okay.